Hello Ranger Point Precision friends, family, and a special howdy to all you space cowboys. In today's video we're going to be swapping out the lever loop for the Rossi R95. Right here in my hands is the lever loop made specifically for this. This is going to be a mid-sized loop here. It's going to be just a little bit bigger than your factory loop there if you have the classic model. Now this right here is a pretty straightforward installation and I'm going to show you how. The first thing we're going to do though is we're going to make sure that the gun is empty and that there is no ammunition in our wingspan, on our workbench, or whatever, because we owe that to ourselves and those around us. Now let's look at the tools necessary to do this job. So first, what we're going to have is the lever loop. You're going to need to grab your lever loop from Ranger Point. Then we're going to need a hammer. We're going to need a possible flathead screwdriver if you don't have the Ranger Point Precision quick takedown screw. And the next thing you're going to need is a punch. I have this set right here from Wheeler. They're relatively inexpensive. They've been around the block. They're pretty tough. I like them. Namely, the 5/64 punch. This 5/64 punch will work really well. If you don't have a punch, you may be able to fashion one out of an old nail or something. Next thing you're going to need is a rag. Now this rag is going to come in very handy as a vise block and device to keep our plunger and spring from flying across the room. Okay, so let's get started. At this point, you're going to either need a flathead screwdriver to remove your factory lever takedown screw, but we have this Ranger Point Precision quick takedown screw. So simply enough, all we got to do is twist this thing out by hand. No tools needed. So we're going to get our lever in a position about like this. We're going to go ahead and take our takedown screw. You'll be taking your factory takedown screw, setting it aside. We will need that shortly. Then your loop, your factory loop, comes out just like this. So now this is going to show you the profile difference of these two. The Ranger Point Precision lever loop has got just a little bit more room in it there. Of course, we are comparing this to the lever loop that is in our classic model here. The Trapper lever loops on the R95s have got just a little bit beefier of a profile. So this is kind of just a good in-between lever. So let's go ahead and get our gun out of the way. And now we're going to need our rag. This rag is going to do two purposes. First and foremost, it's going to hold this up so we can drive our pin out. And then also, we're going to use it as a block so that our plunger doesn't go flying across the room. So what I would like to point out to you is one side of this is perfectly round, and the other side of this has got a star pattern. That star pattern means this roll pin is a little bit fatter on this backside, and it's not going to drive through this way. What you're going to want to do is roll it over to the perfectly round side and drive that pin out that way. Now, our rag right here. We're going to set this here. We're going to wad it up a little bit. What that's going to allow is that roll pin to push downward. And then what I like to do is pull me up something like this. So that way our spring and detent don't go flying once we release that. So now we're going to take our 5/64 punch and we're going to place this on this side. And we're going to take our hammer and we're going to peck this out. Now, it may take a little bit of force to keep going, but use patience and you will absolutely get there. So I just felt that push through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my punch in here and I am going to hold all of this mess here so that my spring and plunger don't go flying. So there we go. Now we're going to take our spring and plunger. There's the plunger. Spring fell out. We're going to take that, we're going to transfer that over. So now we have got our plunger, our spring, and our roll pin. We're going to take our factory lever loop, we're going to set it aside, and now it's time to bring in the Ranger Point Precision lever loop. So now we're going to look at our roll pin. Remember I said that the roll pin has got teeth on one side, that was that star pattern. So we're going to make sure that that smooth round part goes into the lever first. Now, we've got our spring. The spring doesn't really matter. The spring will go right here in this pocket. We'll just poke him in just like that. So now let's look at our plunger and the way that it goes. So you're going to notice that there is a little bit of a triangle on one end. That points out. The flat end goes in toward the spring. Then there is a flat top there. That is where that roll pin retains this. So as this slides back and forth, that roll pin is retaining that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this flat side that goes against the spring. Then the flat part that's machined out in the top there goes in just like this. And then we're going to take our roll pin, and like I said, the splined part, that toothy part, is going to be the part that points up towards you now. So we're going to take and push in just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and get that roll pin started. So that roll pin is holding everything. It's just not setting flush. See how the roll pin's out just a little bit? Let's go ahead and drive that back home. Now we're through driving it in. What we want is to feel and make sure that that roll pin is flush and not protruding from either side. So now that we've confirmed that, let's put our lever loop back in the gun. All right, so let's take our lever loop, poke her back up in here like this. We're going to take either our Ranger Point Precision quick takedown screw or our factory screw and a screwdriver. We're going to reinstall that. Righty-tighty, there we go. So now for function testing, we want to make sure that it's latched. So we give it a good push like that, it stays latched. Let's go ahead and open this up. We are moving the bolt, everything is going back and forth like it should. We're good to go. So we hope you were successful installing your lever loop from Ranger Point Precision. If you need any further help, hit us up at the support@rangerpointprecision.com email. We've got all sorts of pictures, videos, diagrams, all sorts of things that'll help you enjoy your lever guns. Y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next video.